وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. يقول الله تبارك وتعالى في كلامه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأمر أهلك بالصلاة واصطبر عليها لا نسألك رزقا نحن نرزقك والعاقبة للتقوى. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, in the Quran you will see the dialogue between the father and the son. And the father, the Nabi Nuh alayhi salam, in this case addressing his son with the words, Ya bunayya, O my son, O my beloved son, O my dear son. Ya bunayya rkab ma'ana, board the ship. And then you have Yaqub alayhi salam giving instructions to his son Yusuf alayhi salam. Ya bunayya, again the same words, Ya bunayya, O my dear son, O my beloved son, La taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatik, do not tell your dream to your brothers. But the most extensive instructions given by a Nabi is Luqman alayhi salam's instructions to his son. Some have debated whether Luqman alayhi salam was a Nabi, a prophet or not. But in Surah Luqman, Allah Azza wa Jal describes the instructions that Luqman alayhi salam gave. وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِابْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِبُهُ يَا بُنَيَّ. And when Luqman said to his son while he was advising him, O my son, La tushrik billah, do not commit shirk. Ya bunayya, O my son, innaha in taku mithqala habbatin min khardalin takun fi sakhratin aw fi samawati aw fil ardi ya'ti biha Allah. O my son, if in the hereafter Allah will bring everything out, no matter how small it is. O my son, Ya bunayya aqim as-salah, establish salat. O my son, O my son, O my son, O my dear son, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 instructions that a father is giving to his son. And usually we focus on that and put the spotlight on our children and say, this is what our children should be doing. This is what the son should be doing. These are the instructions. Oh son, this is what Allah wants you to do. But rarely do we put the spotlight on the father or the mother. What are they supposed to be doing? There are some general guidelines in the Quran. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O you who believe, save yourself and your family from the fire of Jahannam. So there are some general instructions. But today we're going to focus the spotlight on the parents and specifically what not to do. What not to do. Yes, we are to be tender, we are to be kind, we are to be loving, and it is our responsibility to have a strong bond with them so that we can be effective murabbi. What is murabbi? Means we are responsible for their tarbiyah. We are responsible for their upbringing. For the first time after thousands of years, for the first time in human history, that tarbiyah, upbringing, proper upbringing, has been divorced from ta'aleem, education. Usually it was the muallim, the teacher, who was also the murabbi. The teacher was the one who was doing the tarbiyah. Whether that teacher was teaching Quran or Hadith, or the teacher was teaching math or science, whether it was the Western world, the Christian world, or Greek or Islamic world, it was the teacher who was doing the tarbiyah. And now you might have 1 or 2 classes in school, civic responsibility, character building, but for the most part, teachers in school, in the Western system of education, and for that matter throughout the world, teachers are not responsible for tarbiyah, for the proper upbringing of the children. Question is, who is responsible then? It's the parents. Yes, the parents. What is the definition of tarbiyah? Tarbiyah means our words, our actions, whether it's the frown on our face when they do something wrong, or our disapproving gaze when we look at them when they have done something wrong, the way we look at them that don't do that, or our words of encouragement, the way we encourage them or inspire them, or constructive criticism, what we say, what we do, all the actions and words of the parents that are geared towards the children so that they reach their maximum potential in all areas. Within the context of Quran and Sunnah, they reach their maximum potential, not just in education, but in their akhlaq, in their good manners, in their social skills, in their intelligence, in their moral, in their hereafter, in their spirituality, in their connection, in their bond with Allah, and with their love of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of that. That is all falls under tarbiyah. It's a big umbrella. Not just their education, not just that they have a degree and they graduate from college. No, their health, their well-being, everything falls under tarbiyah. Now, there are some traits, 7 that I have decided to pinpoint, which become a barrier in effective tarbiyah. These 7 traits, parents, we're not focusing the spotlight on the children. Who are we focusing it on? The parents. If we have any one of these traits, this will become a barrier, an obstacle in doing their good, proper tarbiyah. Number 1 is the moral compass of the parents is not strong. This is the most difficult of the 7. In other words, the parents have to look at themselves in the mirror. If the daughter hears the mother backbiting someone on the phone, when the mother is talking to her friend, and then the mother says, don't backbite, the mother or the father has lost their marbles. They have lost their moral authority. The children are not going to look up to them. Why? Because they are looking at the parents every single second of their life. They are looking and hearing what the parents are saying. If the father says, don't lie, but when they go to a restaurant where it says, Tuesdays, kids 10 and under eat free, and your son is 11 years old, and you say, yeah, look, he looks 10. I say you're 10. Because the sign says 10 and under eat free. You've lost it. You've lost it. Okay. You've lost it. If you are not fulfilling your promise, the promise that you make to your friends, and the son sees that. If you are not parking properly, if you are breaking the law, the son or the daughter, they see that. So this all has an effect on them. That's number 1. Number 2 is the parents, there are psychological issues with the parents. For example, the parent, the father or the mother is always grumpy, as if they're discontent with their life. They're not happy with their life. And then we expect the children to do shukr and to show gratitude when you yourself, every fiber in your body, every cell is shouting out that you are unhappy with your current state of affairs in life. And you expect your children to be happy and to be content and to do shukr when you are not shakir, when you are not showing gratitude to Allah. Or maybe you get angry quick. Maybe you throw a fit, a tantrum. Or you get angry and you stay angry for a long time. Or when you make decisions, you are irrational. You don't think things through. All of this has an effect on the children. And the third is toxic parenting habits. And there's a lot of them. We've picked them up from our parents or our grandparents, our culture. Sometimes we criticize our children for every small wrong that they have done. There is constructive criticism where you criticize them for something that they have done wrong in the hopes that they will improve. But you criticize them for every small thing that they have done wrong. Or you humiliate them. Worse, this is the worst thing that you can do. You humiliate your children in front of their friends. Or sometimes you are overprotective. This also happens, especially with the mothers. They are overprotective. It's called smothering. You're not allowing the personality of the child to flourish. You're not allowing him to be independent and self-confident. You are smothering him. You're being overprotective. If he makes a mistake, you try to somehow make sure that he doesn't have to suffer the consequences of his mistake. He doesn't learn a lesson, a valuable lesson in life, which is that every action of ours has consequences. If he makes a mistake and he gets suspended or expelled or he has detention, you try to somehow remove that suspension and get him back into school. You're not helping. You're not helping. You want to teach your child without even saying a single word that his actions has consequences. So these are toxic parenting habits. We might think we are good parents, and many of us, we try to be good parents, but we have to really evaluate ourselves, our behavior, and how we are doing their tarbiyah. We mean the best. We mean the best for our children. We are well-wishers. We are genuine. We are sincere. We are loving. We have unconditional love. That's not the question. But what are we doing? How are we doing it? Do we have the skill set that is necessary to be good parents? I just counted off 3 big no-nos. One is we are not morally upright. And we expect our children, we lie, we cheat, we break our promises, we backbite, and our children see that. Number 2 is we have psychological issues. We throw tantrums. We get angry for no reason. And the 3rd is toxic parenting skills. The 4th, believe it or not, is language. Sometimes language becomes a barrier. Because their mother tongue, if they were born here, is English. Your mother tongue is not English if you immigrated. Your mother tongue is Urdu or Punjabi or Arabic. You can understand English. You can understand English, but you as immigrant parents cannot express yourself adequately, your emotions, your feelings in front of your children. Because it's not your fault. English is not your language. English is not your mother tongue. So you are at a disadvantage because of that language barrier. And the 5th is knowledge. We have to be knowledgeable of the current issues, of the challenges they are facing. Yes, we have more life experience, and we have been around the block a few times, and we know how to avoid the pitfalls in life and how not to get duped by someone. But there are certain issues that they are passionate about. For example, global warming. That's number 1 priority for them. And you couldn't care less about global warming. Or they're passionate about civil rights. And you're like, what's civil rights? To be knowledgeable of what they are facing day in and day out. And what are their issues and their concerns and what are they passionate about? And that leads us to number 6, which is to be available. You have time. You have to have time that you spend with them. As an Arab poet says, laysa al-yatim, the orphan is not the one whose father has died. The orphan is one whose father does not have time for him. So sometimes the parents are so busy and whatever they're doing in life that they don't have time. And if they do have time, they're emotionally unavailable. It's like they are living in 2 different worlds. They say if you see a father and son, walking, and if you see two people walking or traveling together and they are not talking, that means they're father and son. And if you see two people traveling together and they're talking, they must be what? Friends. That's not the way it's supposed to be. And the seventh is that if we are disobedient to Allah, then our children will be disobedient to us. That's a given. It's a given. Because call it karma or what goes around comes around. If we are disobedient to Allah, our children will be disobedient to us. One scholar, Sheikh, I can't remember his name at the moment, he would say, when his horse would be disobedient to him, he would realize and say, I must have done something to displease Allah, that my horse is being disobedient to me. Horse disobedience is reflective of his disobedience to Allah. So may Allah Azza wa Jal make us the best murabbi we can be for our children. Right? This is our responsibility, to do their tarbiyah, to do everything possible to nourish them, to encourage them, to inspire them. Yes, to sometimes scold them, and to sometimes give that disapproving gaze, to give that disapproving look, to have that frown on our face if they have done something wrong. All of that falls under tarbiyah. But it all starts from us, that we have to first clean our plate, we have to clean our home and make sure that we are being the best parents we can, and we have the skills that are necessary to be good parents. And then we can hope for our children to, inshallah, to be obedient to Allah and to be obedient to us. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا